Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to the channel. All right, let's talk about AMC, technical analysis. Today, I know we had that initial dip down here, and I have this new zone right here, and I know that Jen Collado, aka Alfred, talks about liquidity zones a lot. And I think it's safe to say that now, since we've seen distribution in this upper zone and now accumulation in this lower zone, this is a key horizontal zone to watch. The bottom of it being around 2850. And then the top of it, we're actually back testing right now in this 3650-ish region. We came down and touched it. As you can see here on the daily chart. And I do want to point out here, whenever this thing was coming down in the morning, I did tweet out. Oh, sorry, it's actually right here. This shorter term. Wait, where is it at? No, there was a Fibonacci that I tweeted out, and it hit it perfectly. Oh, this is awkward. So anyway, how's your guys' day going outside of the stock market and everything while I find this Fibonacci? Dude, I'm gonna look up the tweet. I didn't tweet very much today, so shouldn't be too hard to find. Oh, this is embarrassing. On the 1-day chart, I measured it from the wick here. The wick here. Oh, there you go. What is wrong with me? Why couldn't I do this just now? That's so weird. Yeah, that was it. So basically the bottom of the recent move here from like 34.64 up to the top where we ran up to $38.81. You can see here we actually found support right here on this 0.786. We went on to have a really heavy move to the upside. So we went from 36.31 and we touched all the way up to 38.67 at one point today, and then we came back down. So overall, you know, we're kind of in the same place that we were now. I mean, you can see here that we're actively teeter-tottering on the support line that we've been talking about, the bull trend. And actually, as it's drawn here, we're a little bit below it. So we definitely want to see some bullish price action. I mean, the stock, from a technical standpoint, you know, and I mean, I can draw more favorable bull trends, but at the end of the day, these two touch points, you know, you want to hold these two touch points. On a shorter term, you could say that you have like this trend line here that you can draw, right? So we've like ducked below it before and then kind of jumped back above it. But you know, for the larger scale, you definitely want to keep this longer term trend up. And then another thing, I know that we've been talking about Wyckoff a lot on the channel. And by the way, hold on, before I talk about Wyckoff, for anybody who's not familiar, obviously I bring it up every video for AMC, but in order for us to establish this as a true wave 3, right, we're gonna want to get some upward momentum. I mean, by this time, like we can't afford to really like, I mean, we can go sideways, like that's fine, but you know, from a Fibonacci perspective, you're looking at this move when we had that real big burst up to like 4150. You definitely want to get some action here. You know, if we are going to confirm this as a wave 1, a wave 2 down, and then a wave 3 up, I mean, there has to be action on the stock. And I mean, it can take time to play out. I get that, but I would expect a lot more explosive price action from a technical standpoint. And I know everybody's going to say, oh, it's manipulated, you know, and I understand all that, but at the end of the day, the stock price is what the stock price is. People are going to decide when they're going to buy and when they're going to sell based on the stock price. And if I mean, I saw some day traders in Discord talking about buying some AMC calls and stuff like that. Like, that's the sort of energy that you want, right? You want people to get excited. And I know GME had some excitement at some point today. I don't follow GME as closely. But yeah, let's just get into Wyckoff and how I'm seeing that. So if you're not familiar, this is one of the 2 Wyckoff schematics we've been following on the channel. And basically, it's a study on how institutions trade based on liquidity and how they basically exhaust retail traders to maximize profit and maximize accumulation. In my opinion, this is a Wyckoff accumulation schematic that's playing out on the screen. And just so I can briefly show you what I mean by that. Sorry, I had to get a sip of my water. So you can see here you have your primary sell-off, your sell climax, your automatic reaction, sales test, and phase B, your phase B, potential LPS, and then now we're going into, and I mean, this actually does align with this I know I've been a little salty here, but this does align with this sort of LPS theory, right? We came back for our last point of support. Boom. Last point of support. Wow. I'm actually discovering this live on the video with you guys now that I'm looking at it on a larger scale. I was on mobile most of the day. I was spending time with my daughter and stuff. Yeah, I mean this actually, so if you're not familiar, what I'm pointing at here is in phase D, right? On the schematic, we can pull it up and make it bigger here. In phase D, once you break out of phase C, you have this downward action. You bounce up here. You come back and retest. So where are we? And actually, I drew these phases like a long time ago, but you have the sideways action through phase C, like I described. Let me pull up the picture and let it be like. Sorry if that's too bright. I know you're probably looking at your phone like, dude, it's not a rave, bro. But yeah, so you come back, you get your last point of support right out of the right when you get out of phase D, or into phase D, I'm sorry. You bounce up, come back, another last point of support basically. So, I mean, based on this, if this is in fact the way that the schematic is playing out, you would be expecting some upside here. Now, there is another thing that I noticed today that I just wanted to point out because I've been covering Wyckoff so much, like on everything. I even was covering it on freaking SHIB right now. Shiba Inu. Posted a video over the weekend about that. Which, by the way, it went, for anybody who's watching this video and watched that video, it went back into accumulation. Let's just bounce over there. I know you guys don't care. It's literally going to take me 2 seconds. It's just crazy. That it is, to me, Shiba Inu is clearly being accumulated and distributed by some sort of large whale present. So you had accumulation here, distribution here, accumulation here again. And I tweeted this out when it was back here. I said, yo, is SHIB accumulating again? Because I thought for sure that after distribution, they were just going to send this thing down. I mean, it had been up, it's up 1,000,000% or whatever. So I figured that they'd go, oh, let's just take our profit. But they actually decided to take this thing. Look at how hot the RSI got on this again. Way overbought. I mean, obviously it was way overbought. I mean, this is insane. You never see RSI look like that before. This is it's crazy. Look, I mean, it's to me it's distribution again right here. Obviously they're selling off again. If I see another accumulation schematic, I might hop in. I'm not gonna lie. So anyway, let's hop back to AMC. I was saying though that it's potential. The thing about these accumulation schematics is that they actually play out within each other. What I mean by that is on smaller scales within the schematic, you will see the schematic playing out. And I know that this isn't necessarily like on a smaller time frame the way that I'm describing this right now. But I'll just show you an example. If we jump down into the 1 minute chart for AMC. Let's see if I can spot one. So yeah, I mean this would be an example. Maybe not. Let me get one that's like really clear because they happen all the time. Am I lying? Am I lying to you? All right, look. So this would just be an example here. You have your primary sell-off, your sales climax, automatic retest, sales test. We climb up here, come back for a sales test in phase B, et cetera, et cetera. So basically the idea is that they're creating this kind of downward price action so that they can accumulate and then distribute at the top of these bigger moves. Sorry. Let me jump back over here to a larger time frame. All right, so, and I know I can scroll, but I just prefer to click around for some reason. So yeah, anyway, I was noticing here, okay, maybe this is an accumulation playing out within the accumulation. I will say that looking at it this way, it would imply that you would see downside, but that doesn't really make sense if in fact, and like I said, I mean, we're matching up with this what I call LPS theory, the last point of support theory, which basically is just saying that it's the schematic 2 theory. Because if you're not familiar, there is also an accumulation schematic 1. I can show you that briefly, where basically you have a spring and a test in phase C instead of this more sideways action, which I do have a theory surrounding that as well. Let me take this off the screen before I forget. So I can show you what that looks like. The spring theory. So the spring theory obviously would require that it is a little bit more drawn out. And this spring theory would insinuate that perhaps in the relative short term we should be seeing pretty aggressive downside. So let me pull up the schematic again, and I'll move it out of the way so you can see the chart and the schematic or something. Yeah, here's good. So, and you know, I mean, it's a little hard, and it doesn't have to be exact either. Like, it doesn't have to be the exact schematic. Like, it doesn't have to play out. But what you would say is this recent move up would be kind of like this move up here. So then I guess the insinuation now would be that we see maybe one more move up with this one, this, somewhere around this region. This vertical line gets moved over here, so phase C gets pushed back a little bit. You have your spring and your test. So then after this move up, let me get a path. That'll be better. If I can find the path. Okay, here it is. So then after this move up, right, maybe you come up and you get kind of close to this resistance region. You come back down. And actually, the spring would be this really panicked move down below the liquidity zone. Freak everybody out to test the liquidity. Make sure that there's buying pressure there. Boom. Test. And then, boom, you would come into your last point of support, etc., etc. Sign of strength, and then you'd see more upside. This would kind of push the bigger moves for AMC to the upside into December. The LPS theory would be aiming for like the beginning of November. So definitely, you know, in the short term, we're definitely, you know, within the next couple weeks. And I know that you know, it's you know, typical YouTuber stuff, right? Like I'm trying to pump you up or whatever. In the next couple weeks, we're gonna know a lot more. But I mean, that's just how it's going right now. You know, we have to analyze the stock now. What I would say is, based on these two theories, though, that we should be expecting a move up here in the short term. And by short term, I mean like within the week, we should be seeing a good, a relatively sizable move up, I'd say. Like, I'm not expecting anything crazy, but what I'm looking for is this. Oh, you can't see that. Let me take the schematic off the screen. I'm looking for this move right here. See that that little peak at the beginning of phase D. I'm looking for that sort of move at least. I mean, and if it doesn't happen, I mean, maybe I could go back and rework it and try and make it, look like it, but that would kind of invalidate this theory. And then unfortunately, technically speaking, it would play into the hands as well. So we're not really going to know, but it would play into the hands of this theory where you see that little bump up like we talked about before, right before phase C. It could be playing into the hands of that as well. So really what you're looking for is that price action relatively soon, in the next week or so, week or two, getting up into this upper resistance region to know more about the schematics. I know that there are a lot of patterns that people are talking about. I know Alfred was talking about a slanted inverse head and shoulders. And I'm pretty sure that that's still in play. I believe it's this one on a shorter time frame though. I feel like this thing just doesn't like head and shoulders for some reason though. But it would look something like this probably, where you got your head, and then your neckline, like I said, is slanted like this. Perhaps you'd say like this. This thing just hates head and shoulders, honestly. So yeah, I mean, that would be coming up for a test if it moves up in the short term. So yeah, I mean, that's basically all the things that I'm looking at. I'm looking at we gotta get moving on this wave 3. I mean, it can sit around and lolly around, but it's just not consistent with a wave 3 in my opinion. So we definitely want to see some moves soon. Again, this Wyckoff stuff is trying to say, hey, it is manipulated. This is how we can understand the manipulation and what movement we can be expecting from it. I mean, to be honest with you, you probably, if you zoom in here, you can probably even see the schematic playing out on this now that I'm looking at it. Let's see. Probably shorter time frame. Oh, this is definitely distribution. For sure. You come down, sell climax, automatic reaction, sell test. Moving into phase B, you get this upward motion, sell test in phase B, come back up, retest the top of this liquidity zone in the short term. Perhaps this is your spring in phase C, and then a test and going into phase D, which would make it consistent with that upward move. I mean, we got it. Yeah, to me, in the short term, you're looking for some upward price action. I mean, this has been playing out over a couple days, but we got to see a move up in the short term. I just can't see. I can't really see the short term bear side. I feel like bears have to be getting exhausted at these levels. You can look at different indicators to try and tell you more of a story when it comes to that. Let's see. We can look at volume. I know I've been gone for a little while, but let's just while we're digging, just dig all the way in, especially if you're still here. I appreciate you for sticking around. So we can pull up our volume, see what the momentum looks like. Volume is still really low, which is relatively good because we're in this relative downtrend. As I always say, when you're in a relative downtrend, you want the volume to be lower and lower because it shows that bears are getting exhausted. If you're a bull, that's a bullish signal. Today overall in the market was that was the wrong button. Today overall in the market, though, I will say, was a relatively slow day. Not a lot of volume. I know it was a holiday, so maybe that was playing a role in things. Just get the regular RSI up. Yeah, I mean, we're trending up with RSI on the daily, right? So, yeah, I mean, you wanna see some more momentum get into the play. I know that I said that the volume being low is a good thing, but at a certain point, you know, you definitely want to see some interest come back into the stock. But perhaps, you know, these are going to be the final signals for bulls that bears are done with their shorting games, et cetera, in the short term at least. So they will feel more confident going long, um, getting into those you know, bigger long positions and pushing the stock price up. I mean, at a certain point, I just feel like you have to have a test of the upside, right? You have to test up here again, this $52 region at this point, because you have a clear lower, I mean a higher low here. So as long as you don't have this some sort of crazy breakdown, it kind of is just in the cards right now for us to go test the upside again. And then also, if that does happen, you know, you have a pretty good like a probably A B C D E or a W type pattern that's forming there as well. So relatively bullish, but definitely want to see some more price action come into the play. That's what I'd say. That's my summary. Overall, be looking out for the Wyckoff stuff. Go watch my other videos where I break down the different Wyckoff schematics. I'll tag one here at the end of the video for you to go watch, where I break down the different ideas. Obviously, there's added context now that we didn't have back then whenever we were talking about it, but we've been keeping pretty good tab on it. Other than that, if you're interested in charting and using the tools that I'm using, I do have a referral code for TradingView. If you sign up for a premium membership with them, I get a commission kickback or something like that for the channel. I just signed up, so I don't know what exactly it is. And then you can follow me on Twitter and join my Discord. It's a community. It's free to join. We all hang out there, talk throughout the day, share some charts and stuff. I didn't share much on Twitter today because I was hanging out in Discord. I hop back and forth. And then other than that, I think that's about it. I know Bitcoin is blasting off right now. I'll probably make a video about that. It seems like people on my channel so far are just mostly interested in AMC, which I totally understand, but I do want to try and like bring my technicals over to other plays and stuff like that to try and expand and show that the tools I use and stuff work on other plays as well. It's not just one thing. We're talking more about momentum and price action and understanding people's psychology whenever price is doing certain things, et cetera, et cetera. So if you're down for that sort of thing, make sure you subscribe and turn your notifications on. I appreciate you for watching until the end. It really helps out with the YouTube algorithm and stuff, so I appreciate that. And until next time. Today was leg day, and I slept like, I don't know. I slept like 5 or 6 hours last night, and it was not enough sleep for me to be having a leg day. I'll tell you that. That's why I sound so tired and kind of worn out, but I'm going to go take a nap now. All right. Thank you guys. Bye.